Hey, it's Councilman Salters,
And Councilman Grove.
and we are here a little late, couple days
Yeah,
late
we've been a little busy.
with your council recap. We got out late Monday. Councilman Grove had to go take care of food truck stuff. I had to go take care of school stuff the past couple days. It's been a mess. I'm in gym clothes. We just helped the football team go with workout. Fingers crossed, things keep going good. We
keep pushing forward.
Keep pushing forward. We keep getting good message. Stuff's going great at your business, so we've been busy, but we wanted to make sure that we had a council recap just to go over what happened at our council meeting. So kind of an
important meeting.
Yeah, pretty important meeting, very important meeting actually.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of public comments. We went over updated ordinances, 3 updated ordinances, and then we had a grant. Basically kind of getting in the weeds. We got a grant, so then we had to make a line item specifically in our budget for that.
You got to have a fund for it if you got money.
Yeah, so basically we'll just do a quick rundown. Public comment, I think this is one of the most important things that we've added to the agenda.
I do too. I mean, it's government at its finest, really, because we're asking the public to step up, come to us and tell us what your problems are, and they did.
Yeah, and the key thing is we need to be there to be able to listen. We need to be able to hear the people, and people need to be able to come to us and let us know their perspective and what's happening through those. And I think that is extremely important. I think this is how it is. Agree, disagree. It gets emotional at times, but people were very civil. They gave their opinions, and I think that's a very great thing for the city of Vincent.
Yeah, and at the end, some people you just agree to disagree, and that's how it was.
Yep. So then that gets us on to, we've made a quick change. We got a grant, which is great news for our fire department, but we just had to add a line item to that, so we made that change real quick. The next 2, we increased the mandatory retirement age for our police department and our fire department. This is a no-brainer for us.
It is, and a lot of people didn't realize that at a certain age, it was 65. At 65, you had to retire, no matter your health or your condition. You had to retire.
Yeah.
And this just brought us even with the state. And brought it up to 70.
Yeah, and the key thing that we wanted to emphasize is what this allows us to tap into, officers that have been there, fire department people that have been there, to use their experience and what they've seen, and as things have changed and gone on. And that doesn't mean that you have to stay to your 70.
No, but to me, it's common sense.
Yes.
I mean, what business at a certain age you got to get rid of your experience?
Yeah, if they're still there and they still have something to give, why would we say, you know what, go away?
Yeah, to me that was a no-brainer.
So this was a no-brainer. We thank Councilman Stengel for kind of spearheading this, getting this started, and moving forward with that. And then that brought us to the landscape ordinance, which came to us actually in February with some issues. And we started this process all the way back in February. We had a couple meetings with that. Councilman Lowe put a committee together with the tree board, the city engineer, and himself. They addressed these. They published these changes that they were going to make. We discussed it probably in 3 meetings before, from February to March, and then COVID hit. We put it on pause.
Right.
And then I think we started back up. It would have been mid-May that we started talking about this again and getting into the process that we're at now to update an ordinance. And the key thing, this wasn't about landscape. It never was about landscape. It was about an ordinance that wasn't being followed because it couldn't be followed. Not to slam city officials, not to do that. We tried our best to follow those. Our departments that are in charge of those tried their best to follow. They just couldn't. So the question then becomes is, if you have an ordinance that can't be followed or isn't being followed, what's the point of having that ordinance?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, if we can't do anything with it, then why have it on the books? We either need to get rid of it or change it. And they changed it.
And the key thing about that is too, because it weakens your whole ordinance system.
Yes.
If you're not following this ordinance, then why follow this one?
Yeah.
So the key thing is we put an ordinance in play, really simple changes that were made to it, which now when you talk with business leaders, you talk with our city engineers department, you talk with the tree board, these are things that are easy to follow now. And what you'll see now is more people following this.
What we hope is more businesses will come out and say, hey, I can do that.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was just impossible for most of them to abide by. No other place, no other city in the state had that kind of ordinance. So I think we got something we can work with.
Yeah, we got something that we work with. And the thing is, we'll look at ordinances, and if this is something that doesn't work and we need to change it, we're always willing to be able to look at that. What the key thing I think people kind of get mixed up with is once you pass an ordinance, it means it's set and it's done.
No. I mean, that's government, all changing. So that's how we change this one. We'll look every year. You and I have been on that task for the last couple of years to look at ordinances. And it's a changing world, so we need to change with it.
Well, and I think a good example too is the ordinances that we passed right before that. Those are ones that we looked at and updated to make it better for the city of Vincennes.
Exactly.
We had a couple ordinances in our meeting before that we changed and tweaked a little bit to make sure that they work and make sure it's better for the city of Vincennes. So those are the things that we're always looking forward to, is how do we do this in a way that makes it better for the city of Vincennes.
Yeah.
And that's what we want in the end, and we think this is a good change, and we move forward with that. Other than that, like, there wasn't really anything too complicated in the claims. Maybe there's every once in a while something weird that we have to discuss in claims, but other than that, I was very appreciative of the people that came and shared their opinions, shared their thoughts. I think for the most part, people were very respectful of each other. And even though you would have different opinions in different groups, and you had maybe people that would disagree, I think it was a great way to be able to reach out to your government. And I think it was good to be able to be there to listen and be able to hear those perspectives, because that is important.
Yeah. And just because you come once doesn't mean you can't come back. I mean, if the issue isn't addressed, I was kind of proud of Vicki to come back and say, hey, this wasn't addressed how I would like it to be addressed, and she came back, and we're going to look into that and fix that for Vicki as well.
And a key thing too, and you can kind of hit on this a little bit more, is we're talking about kind of road improvements and when those get improved and how those get improved and how those are ranked. Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, we got a program that it's called a PASER program, right. And what it's designed to,
I think I misspell it anytime I text it to you.
And I'm not sure either. It's a program that evaluates our roads, every road in the city limits, and travel, condition, how it's spidered, and it rates it 1 to however many
roads
we got.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to follow that order in paving. There are certain conditions, Miller Pipeline or whatever company we're using for pipeline, we don't want to pave a road and then have the water department or gas lines or whoever come and cut a big hole in.
A good example would be like Forbes Road. They're improving this right now. It was on a list, but we held off because we knew this big drainage system was coming through.
Right.
So
if your street is on the top of that list and it doesn't get paved that year, then there's hopefully an underlying condition, water or sewer or some other reason for that, and we want to make that public.
Yeah.
That way you can call and say, I live on South 15th Street. What is it going to? When am I going to be up to get my street paved? I think we were almost photobombed by the police.
I know. They're
What
sitting there
is
just
up
smiling
with
at us,
this?
laughing at us right now as we do this. So, but the key thing is we're going to go meet with city engineer. We're going to kind of look through this because we'd like to kind of show people how this works a little bit better. And that's one of the things we want to encourage. But other than that, those were kind of the big items of the council for this week.
Yeah.
I mean, hard to believe that we'll be coming in August.
I know.
Fingers crossed school will be started by then.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good news moving forward. Positive information in the state of Indiana, which is always good, and you move forward in this. But we're willing to be nimble and be flexible and be able
whatever
to move.
we got to do.
Key thing too, if you've got questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to us at any time. And also, if you want to come to a meeting, we've got the public comment time. We've got people that are watching the live feed, so you can put questions on those. So that's really important to us. But other than that, that's what we got for our recap.
Yep. See you in a couple weeks.
All right. Have a good one.